Autonomy of the electric car, the truth. Thank you for coming back. The issue of electric vehicle, EV, range is going to be the focus of our discussion today. However, we are not going to just present you with a list of automobiles and their respective ranges. Instead, our objective is to provide you with the information you need to comprehend the reasons why the range figures that manufacturers promote frequently do not accurately match the experiences that people have in the real world. The phrase, "teach a village to farm, don't just give them food," might be interpreted as a lesson in the practice of empowerment. You will be able to distinguish between the noise and the actual facts regarding electric vehicle range by the time you reach the conclusion of this video. In the beginning, we will briefly discuss our Car of the Day section. However, we will keep that for a later time. Prior to anything else, let's go into the subject of range. Please try not to freak out. It is essential to keep in mind that manufacturers have traditionally offered figures for fuel efficiency and range based on ideal conditions rather than actual use in the real world. This theory is applicable to gasoline, diesel, and electric automobiles alike. The quantities of these vehicles rarely correspond to the experiences that we have on a daily basis. It is possible that we will never achieve total accuracy, despite the fact that the regulations around testing have been enhanced and have started to bring the reported figures closer to reality. However, we still have a long way to go. Allow me to make it clear that automobile manufacturers are not being dishonest, rather, they are according to the criteria that have been established by authorities in order to calculate these figures. The tests, on the other hand, are carried out in the most advantageous conditions in order to achieve the most encouraging outcomes. For example, the introduction of the Opel Ampera is quite noteworthy. The company invited journalists to analyze the fuel efficiency of the vehicle, but they decided to do so in the Netherlands, which is an ideal place because the roads are smooth and level, the weather is pleasant, and there is very low traffic. Due to the fact that the conditions were so ideal, a number of journalists, including myself, were able to match or even surpass the statistics shown for fuel usage. On the other hand, if we were to take the identical automobile and drive it on steep, congested roads in Spain, while it was filled with passengers and luggage and experienced temperatures that were quite high, the narrative would be completely different. Because of this phenomenon, there has been a persistent disparity between official data and actual driving performance, which is a problem that has persisted for a long time. When it comes to electric vehicles, however, the stakes are far higher. A shorter range does not only mean higher fuel expenditures, it also means the possibility of running out of charge while traveling, which can result in a significant amount of annoyance. I want to make it perfectly clear that, contrary to what some people might think, I am not opposed to electric cars. In all honesty, I am of the opinion that they are superior for some kinds of driving, particularly in urban settings. A good number of my friends who drive largely in the city are completely enamored with their electric cars. Not only do they have convenient access to chargers, but they also rarely go on lengthy road journeys. The clean, economical, and quiet nature of electric vehicles makes them ideal for driving in urban areas. However, when it comes to traveling across great distances, the tale takes a significant turn for the better. When considering the range of electric vehicles, it is necessary to take into account the many different aspects that have an impact on it in the actual world. One of the most important aspects is the driving style. This particular factor has a significant impact on the amount of gasoline that is consumed by vehicle types of all kinds, but is especially noticeable in electric vehicles. To put it another way, when you accelerate quickly in an electric vehicle, you're dealing with a lot more weight than you would in a gasoline-powered vehicle, which might cause the battery to discharge more quickly. Even if braking can recover some of the energy that was lost, speed and quick acceleration can have a significant impact on the range of an electric vehicle. In addition, the type of road is important. Due to the fact that electric vehicles require steady acceleration after slowing down, hills and curves present challenging conditions for these vehicles. When climbing uphill, more energy is consumed, which results in a faster depletion on the battery. Additionally, the range is affected by the load that the vehicle is carrying. Because of the massive batteries that power electric vehicles, these vehicles are naturally heavy. When you add passengers and luggage to the mix, the additional weight can further reduce the range of the vehicle. Temperature is yet another important issue to consider. It is possible for extreme temperatures to have a major impact on the performance of an electric vehicle. Using air conditioning, for instance, can reduce range by as much as 17% when temperatures are higher than 35 degrees Celsius, according to calculations provided by Renault. In cold weather, the situation becomes much more dire. Batteries have a difficult time functioning in low temperatures, and additional energy is required to heat the interior of the vehicle. This can result in a potential reduction in range of up to 25% or possibly more in really cold circumstances. When it comes to urban traffic, it is interesting to note that electric vehicles can really do better. They have a very low energy consumption even when they are idling, which is a striking contrast to automobiles that are powered by gasoline. The dynamics, on the other hand, change when driving on the highway, particularly when traveling at high speeds or when moving big loads. At this point, let's talk about how the range of an electric vehicle is determined. An upgrade on the previous system, known as the New European Driving Cycle (NEDC), is the Worldwide Harmonized Light Vehicle Test Procedure (WLTP), which is the approach that is currently being used. In spite of this, even when using WLTP, the numbers can still be deceiving. Under real-world situations, the range may be reduced by 20% to 40% in comparison to what is promised, and under extreme conditions, this decrease may be even more dramatic. It may even be as high as 75%. For example, the Volkswagen ID.3 claims to have a range of 418 kilometers, while tests conducted in the actual world show that it only manages to travel approximately 376 kilometers. This is a 10% disparity. The Volkswagen ID.7, on the other hand, has a rating of 621 kilometers, but it only manages to travel roughly 400 kilometers in real-world conditions, which results in a shocking 36% disparity. Additionally, there is a significant disparity of 40% between the rated range of the Toyota bZ4X and its actual range. In conclusion, the actual range of a product is nearly always smaller than what is promised, independent of the brand, and this is true even when the conditions are good. The question now is, how can one accurately evaluate the range of an electric vehicle? If you want to get the best results, you should either test it yourself or speak with a driver who has experience driving in situations that are comparable to yours. As we move on to the charging process, we discover an additional degree of intricacy. Although ultra-fast chargers with a power output of 150 kilowatts or more are capable of recharging a vehicle, such as the Porsche Taycan, in less than 20 minutes, their availability is currently restricted. Consider the fact that there are only approximately 558 of these chargers in Spain, for example. The semi-fast chargers, which can take anywhere from 1 to 3 hours to fully charge a vehicle, are the ones that are now the most frequent. In the event that you are utilizing a typical household outlet, it may take anywhere from 4 to 5 hours or even an entire day, depending on the size of the battery and the extent to which it has been draining. It is possible that charging overnight at home is sufficient for individuals who, for the most part, drive modest distances. On the other hand, while traveling for larger distances, it is necessary to rely on public charging infrastructure, and this is where difficulties arise. We have all seen films that demonstrate lengthy queues at Tesla superchargers, which serves to highlight the fact that the infrastructure is not yet solid enough to allow widespread use of electric vehicles for long-distance travel. I would like to respond to a handful of remarks before I come to a conclusion. It is a common misperception that electric cars are more likely to catch fire than conventional automobiles. However, this is not the case. In point of fact, in comparison to gasoline-powered vehicles, they have a lower risk of catching fire. Whenever they do catch fire, the problem occurs because it is far more difficult to put out the flames. The channel is grateful to each and every one of you for watching, commenting, and supporting it. The most important thing to take away from this is that we will continue to learn together. We will see you in the following season.